Hey guys, Carrie here. Um, I want to talk about today about meeting my shadow self. And one of my subscribers actually just brought this video to mind, making me want to do it. Because I did kind of have an epiphany about some things um, regarding my shadow self that I'd like to share. And I'm at my mom's visiting right now. There's a lot of dogs that live here, and um, the chances for distraction are high. So I do have a pause button. So if I need to, I'll just pause this and come back when there are no longer any distractions. So okay, so there are four things that I want to talk about as far as me meeting my shadow self, and that will kind of explain why I feel like I've done that. Okay, so when my awakening first began in June of 2015, it was like a vault. I mean, there's really no other way that I can explain it, but there was like a light just straight above my head. Um, like, I guess your crown chakra just kind of goes like that, and then all of a sudden you're just in straight line with yourself, kind of thing. Like if you could just imagine a line being, all the way through you, and your higher self is up there. I mean, that's really the best way I can describe it. But I just kept seeing like images of, and it's not really that like I was seeing images, but it was impressions of a black feline. Um, so I believe that was my higher self just kind of like um, opening me up because it was time for me to wake up. But then all of a sudden, these foreign thoughts were in my head, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" I mean, I was, excuse me, I was scared to death, and it's like my world just started spinning out of control because the thoughts were kind of relentless, and they scared me. I mean, if you'd like more information about what happened, I do have a playlist called The Awakening. Um, that goes into great detail about that. But I ended up in the hospital. And I was just looking at what I wrote here, thinking, wow, the first and second experience has to do with the hospital. But okay, so that was my first one. The second one was, I don't really know what to call it. I mean, it was kind of like it's just a dream. It's so vivid. I mean, it's almost like an out of body experience, but I put out of body experience / lucid dream, where I was out in the driveway um, of my mom's house. I mean, I was living there, but I dreamt that I was with my daughter in the driveway, and we were about to smoke a joint or something. And we saw like the driveway curves like this, but we were over here near the house, and down here a little ways, I saw this shadow, or this like black figure approaching toward us. And I was like, "Hey, do you see that? What the hell is that?" And it disappeared. Well, a few seconds after it disappeared and we were just sitting there looking, I felt something go from the top into the top of my head into my body, and everything went black. There was no sound, there was no sight. It was just like, I mean, it entered me. That's a weird way to say it, but it just came in to me, and it scared me so bad. I mean, it woke me up, and all of a sudden I was awake, but I couldn't move, and I believe that's from my soul wasn't completely back in my body yet. But it scared me, and I was gasping for air. It scared the crap out of me. I was like, what the hell was that? I'm like, okay. But then I went back to sleep, and I ended up having another dream that I was in a round room with about 8 beds all around, and it was a hospital. I got the distinct feeling it was it was a hospital. So, so there's the second hospital experience. Um, and then, okay, so the third one is another OBE slash lucid dream. Okay, in this house, my mom's house, the same house I'm just talking about before. I was in the kitchen, and this lady with red hair and a dress was walking by, and I was trying to talk to her, like, hey, what are you doing? Hey, but she wasn't walking. She was just floating by. She just didn't even look, didn't know I was there. And I was like, hey, can you turn the light on? Turn the light on. And I was trying to turn the light on. I have this dream written down, but I don't have my dream journal with me, unfortunately. But then all of a sudden, I was looking down the hall and there was a stretcher in the hall, and there was a body under it. It was covered up. And I felt like I was laying down on the bar, but I couldn't move my body. I couldn't move my arms. I couldn't do anything. And then all of a sudden I got a little closer, like it was me on the stretcher, and my head was up, like looking, and I saw a black figure, and it was around the corner and going into the living room, but it was like looking at me like this, like kind of peeking out, okay? And of course it didn't have a face. It was just a black figure, almost cartoon-like. But it was looking around the corner like this, like peeking at me. And I remember feeling fear then, and I was like, oh shit, what the hell? And I still couldn't move. I couldn't I couldn't do anything. But it did like this, okay? It just kind of was looking at me, and I was scared. And then it did like this, like turned his head real quick, and then turned like and went around the corner, like did like that, like like chase me or come and get me, and then ran around the corner and disappeared. And I remember I was trying to push up and trying to go after it. I wanted to chase after it, like, you get your butt back here. You're not gonna tease me like that. But I got a sense of playfulness from this being. So that was very eye-opening. So, okay, the fourth one was a very recent dream. This was like a week ago. I was visiting, and I know that I was visiting other lives. I was laying there, and I was hearing voices like I sometimes do whenever I'm almost asleep. I'm in that delta state. So I was hearing the voices, but this time it's like I couldn't wake up. Like I was asleep and I was hearing it, and I would feel myself wake up, but I couldn't really wake up. And then I was suddenly in these other houses and things, and I was looking at people, and I knew that I was really not there. I knew I was asleep in bed. I was completely aware, but I visited probably 3 or 4 at least, and I knew that these were me. One of them in particular was a man, and it was my family, it was me. But after several visits, I was back in my bed, and I remember I was laying like I was really there, but I was still dreaming, and I looked up and behind me, and there was a black figure just like right here in my face, kind of like this, looking at me. And at first I felt a little bit of fear, but it wasn't much. And we were just eye to eye, like staring each other down kind of thing. And it had a loving expression on its face. It wasn't trying to scare me. It was just like, hey, I'm here. And then all of a sudden I felt it go through me. And it was almost like or I'm not going to say orgasmic, but it was a really good feeling. I mean, it was just like, okay, I'm in here now. And then I woke up. So what do you suppose that was? And I hate the way that this, it's overlaying my mouth all weird. But okay, so I'm going to switch to this. I want to show y'all this. Okay. Spoiler alert, if you have not seen Under the Skin, this is the ending part, okay? So if you don't want to see the end, then look away. Excuse me. Gotta quit smoking soon. I got a date set. Okay, so that, if you haven't seen that movie, and that, this is the first time you've seen that, you actually feel for this being, and it's just basically is wearing skin. Like, this is a skin suit, and I've heard that saying so many times, like, recently in the past 3 years, skin suit. Our soul, our spirit and soul wears a suit. So you actually feel for this being, because this is what's really under the skin. And that's really stuck out to me when I, had that dream. But this, it wasn't really just black like that. So look at that. It was kind of glittery. And another strange thing is I've had a dream of a black being walking through my room wearing a black suit. I don't know if that's related at all, but yeah, it was glittery like that, like the cosmos. And I'm going to post links. Oh, and let me say this. I don't want to forget. Thanks to JRT 2007 GJDJE for posting that video. Yeah, but okay, this is kind of what it looked like. Okay, and I remember back when I first began my awakening, I thought everything was so backwards. I was like, okay, if everything is this backwards and black is white and white is black and good is bad, and I was so confused that I actually thought the Illuminati was a good idea. So I was like liking their page on Facebook and stuff, and they have this commercial trying to make them seem like they were all good and everything. But this is more like, it's like a this is their commercial, letting everybody know, hey, we're here to help you. Which that's what their original intention was, but yeah. But it was glittery, but it was like this, like the cosmos, my black figure. So it was like a cross between, here, let me play that a little bit, because it kind of...
We're always watching out for you. To find out more about our organization,
because it kind of goes all around the head and everything. It was kind of like this.
Prepare your life for the light that grows steadily brighter in the distance. As the dawn comes to rid your battlefields of darkness, the age of Illuminatium will begin. Fear nothing. We are always watching out for you.
wouldn't suggest joining what trying to, you could do whatever you want, but, you know, the Illuminati, the cabal is not, you know, that's Team Dark over there. I'm not saying that they're evil, but, because we make our own reality, but it's Team Dark. We got to make a swirl out of that, you know, a vanilla and chocolate swirl. But yeah, okay. If you guys have had any experience with your shadow self, I think this, I mean, please let me know, excuse me, but, I believe that when we're here and we have like these fractions of our souls, I mean, there's a book called Soul Retrieval, by, I can't remember the lady's name, but I'm planning on reading it because we're here gathering up like pieces of ourselves, shards. So we need to do what we need to do to correct, to heal our souls. And it's hard to really know exactly what that means. But if you've got pieces of yourself that are out there thinking they're evil and they can't come to you, and the contrast between that part of you and what you really think that everybody, how you should be through religion and, you know, indoctrination here, the contrast of that can send you to the hospital. And that's why I went to the hospital. I've been to the hospital 6 times, the mental institution. That's how severe the clash between my light, what I felt like I should be for everyone else, and the dark my shadow was. Because when they met, it was like the world was coming to an end. But now that last meeting has really changed my view. Embrace yourself. Never shun any parts of yourself. If you have a thought that you think is bad, just let it pass over. Let it go, you know. If you've done things in your past, use the formula of compassion. Never, ever shun yourself. Ever. So that's what I wanted to say in this video. If you have any comments, please feel free to leave them below. I'd love to hear other people's story about their awakening and whatnot. So, okay, I'm going to go now. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.